Hi guys, if there's anybody in the room there, if you could just let me know that you can hear everything, that everything's okay. Just make sure that the audio's working properly and that everything can be seen okay on your screens. Move this keyboard out of the way. Excellent, thank you. Hi Christy, hi Marian's, Cindy. Excellent. Okay, I'll just give it another couple of seconds. Actually, I've just about made it. I've been so far behind today, and I've been kind of like scurrying around, getting everything set up, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it on time for 2 o'clock, because tech being what tech is, it always kind of like doesn't go right at the last minute. Hi Tiny Light. Hi Carol. So the stream that I've got today actually is quite special because of the product that I'm going to show you. I'll explain that in a second. Just wait. I'll just give it a little bit longer. Hi Mariana. Hi Mary. Okay, so let me just grab something here. Yeah, Janine, they've got Arrtx. I've got a great selection of markers. I've done reviews of their markers. They've got like a bullet nib marker, a brush nib marker, and both markers have got chisel nibs on the end. They're excellent, and they've got a really good selection of colors in both actually as well. Hi Susan. Hi May. Hi Judy. Yeah, so right, so I'll get on with it. So I've got my color wheel here because I'm going to do a little bit of color mixing later on, and I'm not the best at color theory. It's not my favorite subject. I'll move that little the image of me in a minute. But anyway, so this is actually quite a special live stream in that the product that I'm going to show you today doesn't officially launch until... hi, Yvonne. Hi, Nancy. It doesn't actually officially launch until the 10th of November. So, but I think they go on sale on Amazon US in a few days. So, because originally, when I put this up... the agent who I'm in contact with, Arrtx, contacted me and said, "Oh Harry, I've just seen that you're going to do the live stream. Can you hold it back a little bit?" But I only got the email late last night, so it was too late to do anything about it. But as it turns out, they're absolutely fine and they're okay for me to go ahead with the live stream. But they've been advertising this on their social media platforms for maybe the last month or so, maybe a couple of weeks, kind of like hinting at a new product that they're going to come out with. But as who was it mentioned it? I forget. So somebody had mentioned that Arrtx do markers. So I've done a review of their markers before. This is one of their markers. This is the brush nib marker. So if you're a marker artist, you'll have seen my review of these, and they're excellent. And more to the point, they've got a really good color selection in them. They've just brought out a beautiful pastel set as well, 40 pastel colors, which is excellent, because that's one of the biggest issues that a lot of pastel artists, marker artists have, that there's not enough light colors. Now, Arrtx had gouache out before. I think they were like little jelly. Hi Rhonda. They were like they looked like ice cube trays, and the paint looked like jelly. Now, I never got a chance to try those, and in all honesty, I'm not a gouache artist or a watercolor artist for that matter. I've recently started getting into watercolor, and in the interest of transparency, I've not had a play about with these yet. I've had them now for about a week, but I wanted to do everything on the live stream. So if I make mistakes or I do anything wrong or anything like that, you're going to see. Hang on, guys, wait a second. Right, hang on a second, guys, because I'm going to have to check the setting here, because my I'm not sure why this is dropping out on me, the main camera. I think I'll just have to every now and again zoom in and zoom out. Anyway, I'll try to remember to do that. So goodness knows what it is. Anyway, so like I said, they've had these gouache paints before, but with this set of gouache paints, it's not just the paints, it's actually the packaging and the way they're done, and the little containers that they come in, how the containers themselves keep everything nice and fresh, and stuff like that. So I'm going to go through all of that today. And like I say, this is my first time using these as well, so we'll see. So if you've obviously seen the photos that I've put up of the gouache paints, so let me just zoom in a little bit here. So obviously, as you can see here on the front, there's kind of like this space theme, and you can see here there's like a little UFO at the top, and that's obviously the theme of everything. Each little tin it looks like a shoe polish tin. Obviously, being in the army, shoe polish tins are very familiar to me, but they look like shoe polish tins, but they're actually quite unique. The way that they are, I'm going to talk about how you've got to use these tins in order to make sure that you keep them fresh and that they don't harden and stuff like that. No, I'll talk about the light fastness in a second. It's a new product, you see, so they haven't done a lot of light fast testing, or if they are in the process of testing the light fastness, they've told me that they're going to get back to me with light fast information. So most of Arrtx's products are inexpensive, and they are they're kind of like aimed more at the budget end of the market, but they're good quality products. Like I said, with their markers, I've loved using their markers, and I've got the full Copic range of markers, so I'm used to having like the so-called thumbs, are the so-called top of the range line of markers. So I know what is considered the top quality product and what's considered kind of like the bottom quality. Arrtx are nowhere near the bottom. Arrtx are kind of like between midway and I would say a quarter of, maybe 3/4 of the way to the top quality product in terms of pigment strength, in terms of things like that. Now, like I say, light fastness, they are going to get back to me. I asked them that very question this morning before the live stream, and they said that they would get back to me with the light fast information. If the image on this video drops, don't worry about it. Just give me a second and it'll come back on again. I don't know what's happening with my camera. The main camera. I had to go out and buy some extra hardware to get this, because the last live stream I did, I was using my webcams, my Logitech webcams, and they're not very good for this type of thing. I've got my my camcorder here because it allows me to zoom in and what have you, and it focuses much better. So like I say, I've had to go out and buy new hardware, which was like about 150 quid, but because I've been a little bit behind this morning, I don't think I've set it up properly, and for some reason it's dropping. But don't worry, if it drops, just bear with me for a second and I'll get it back up again. You'll still be able to hear me because the audio will still go. Anyway, so as you can see here, right, they've thought about the colours in terms of being able to mix them and create other colours. And so the colours that you can see here, first of all, they've got the black and the white. I'm going to set the paints out because we're going to start using them in a second. So they've got the black and the white. They've got bright red, light yellow, violet, grass green, burnt umber, so there's a brown in there, ultramarine, and Prussian blue. So they've got kind of two different types of blues. I'm just going to set this package into the side. Okay, now for anybody that is new to gouache, and I suppose new to watercolors, and you want to know the difference between gouache and watercolor, I'll show you later on paper what the differences are, but essentially gouache is more opaque. It's much when you lay it down on the paper, it's thicker. It gives you the colors tend to be not necessarily vibrant, but they're much thicker. Whereas with watercolors, you can get that translucent look. It looks much. You can create like really light washes with it, and I suppose you can with gouache as well if you put enough water into it. But the whole idea behind gouache is that it's nice, thick, opaque paint, and I will show you that now as I open this now. I need to get my kitchen roll ready. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that Arrtx wanted me to make sure that I mentioned to you is this. So let me just zoom in a little bit. So the little tins here themselves, actually let me move my mug down at the bottom here. Okay, good. That should remove me now from the bottom. So the little tins themselves, they screw off. So you just twist them off like this, and obviously it's the fact that they're airtight that keeps the paints nice and moist, stops them from drying up. But what you've got to remember to do is to, you can see here, there's a little bit of paint round the threading of the tin. So before you put you put your lids back on, they've said to me that it's important to just clean around the edge to make sure that you don't get a huge buildup of paint on there, and what it does is it breaks the airtight seal, or worse, if you are using them lots and you get loads of paint down the sides and you tighten up your lid on it, over time that paint's going to dry that's around the sides, and it's going to be difficult getting these little lids off. So, but that's the whole premise behind the packaging, is that it keeps these paints nice and moist. So let me just undo the lids, and then we will get into, and I'm going to show you these colours. So look at that green, that is grass green. Just set that to the side. So next up we got this burnt umber. And you can see here, obviously, whenever the postman brought this, I think he launched them from space in through my letterbox, because the lids themselves have got quite a bit of paint in them. Obviously, they've been tipped upside down. But obviously, you can use that. You know, that's not going to go to waste. Use that as well. So you can see there that brown. Not very appetizing if you're eating your dinner, but burnt umber it is. Next up is this gorgeous light yellow. Look at that. I mean, these colours are gorgeous. And the thing is, because well, I think the advantage, sorry, Granny Annie has just asked there, what's the advantages of the jars as opposed to the tubes or the jelly cups? Well, I don't know about the jelly cups because I've not used jelly cups, but I've obviously used tubes, and with the tubes, you know, you put the lid on, it stays moist. I think with these is you can just use the paint straight out of the straight out of these. And so these are your pans as well. So when you're out and about with them, I think it's just an easier way of application. And obviously, they've gone. It's a bit of a gimmick as well in terms of the packaging. You know, like I said at the beginning, if you didn't see, their packaging. Let me just zoom out a bit. Their packaging is this. This is the box that they come in. So it does have this little space theme. So they're looking at these little jars as like these little UFO things, and it plays in nicely. The theme that they've gone for is really nice. If you've seen a lot of the other Arrtx products that I've reviewed in the past, sorry, let me just zoom in again. They're all kind of themed like that. The packaging isn't just like a simple box. They put a lot of thought into the packaging. So there's the black. Look at that. I mean, like, that's gorgeous. But you can see there that there's a lot of that black around the. I don't want to tip it up too much. You can see that there's quite a bit of the black around the thread of the little jar there. So I need to make sure that I just clean that up, because, like, as I said, over time, it will the paint will harden and will dry up and will just create problems. So this one here is Prussian Blue. I love Prussian Blue, whether it's coloured pencils or whatever. It's just a colour I really love. I think it's great. And look at that. Beautiful colours. Next up is this gorgeous bright red. So you can see there, I mean, the colors are gorgeous. And like I said, the reason why they've selected these colors is because the ability to create other colors with them, they all mix well. If you look at, I'll show you this in a second actually, let me finish opening these tins up. The next one is this violet. Hang on. You see, so this one's a little bit stiff because when I opened it the last time, I didn't. My God, Harry, where's your Weetabix? Okay, so there you go, case in point. So I had a real problem opening that up, and let me zoom in here a little bit. Let me see if you can see this. So you can see there, the paint around the side here is all dry. And so because I didn't clean it when I last put the lid on it, it's all dried, and I found it really difficult to really difficult to get that lid off. So it is important, and this is something Arrtx actually asked me to make sure I mentioned, that you clean up the edges of the paints before you put them back, before you put the lids back on. So that was violet. This is white. You see, if you clean them up, you have no problems opening the lids. It's only when you have excess paint around the sides and you put the lid on and then the paint dries, it creates that issue of opening them back up again. No, Mary, they're not professional quality. I asked them this morning about the light fastness of them, and they are going to get back to me with it because it's a new product. I think they are light fast testing them, but they are going to get back to me with the light fast information. And then finally, ultramarine. So this is the last color. There you go, look at that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me move some of these lids, because knowing my luck, I'm going to have a multicolored husky sometime later on today, if I don't. So if you look at the colors that they have here, they're pretty much, you know, the colors that you would look at on your color wheel, whenever it comes to mixing. Now, color theory is definitely not my strongest point, but like I said to you, these colors have been selected for their ability to mix together and create other colors. So I will do a little bit of mixing later on. I'm just going to swatch these colors on this paper now and show you what it looks like. They do come with this little bit of information inside. Inside the box. Now, I didn't read it when it first came. Let me just double check. So it's just really a color swatch of the colors that they have in there. It also shows you on here, so this is interesting. So down at the bottom here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So it has the pigment numbers that are in each color. So light yellow there has pigments PY1 and PY74. It also has here like a transparency legend underneath it as well. So if you look at the legend here, it says the black square equals really opaque, and the half square equals half opaque, so a little bit of translucency there. And so you can see there that with the yellow and the violet and the grass green and the red, they are considered half opaque. And then the white, the Prussian blue, the black, the burnt umber, and the ultramarine are full opaque. So I didn't, like I say, I didn't look at that when I first got it. Hang on a second, guys. My son's trying to text me from university. Hang on. Sorry guys for this little break. My son's just texted me. He's at university and he's needing something, probably money. So hang on. Sorry guys, 1 second. Sorry about this. Don't you just love it when your kids are at university and they want money? Sorry, just had to transfer some money over there to him. Right, hang on. Back in action. It's a good job I don't consider myself a professional artist or a professional anything actually. I wouldn't be doing too good with it. Right, so let me move these pans off here. It might go a little bit wonky. Let me zoom out actually so that there's colour on the page. There's colour getting through to the camera. Right. So I've got myself a little paintbrush here. I'm just going to wet it a little bit. Is it just me or is that overly dark? Is that... Oh, hi, Lindsay. Is it just me, or does it look quite dark? Let me. Okay, so yeah, money from parents. Yeah, I mean, here we are. I'm on a live stream, and my son's texting me for money. Right, hang on. Let me just sorry about this, guys. Let me try and get this. Lighten this screen up a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but it just looks too dark or something. Okay, let me know if that looks a little bit brighter. Okay, that's my son happy now. He's got money. Excellent. All right, okay. I just, for some reason, it was just oh, good, Marion. Taking us all into the kitchen there to make some dinner. Right, okay, so let me get on with these swatching. So I've just damped this brush down a little bit. My God. Jeepers. So I've just damped the brush is a little bit damp, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of the colour from the lids here, because as I was saying earlier on there, the lids end up having a little bit of paint in them. So I'm just going to take the colour out here from this lid. This is the grass green. And you can see how thick and opaque that is. Obviously, if you apply more water, you can obviously water it down a little bit and create a little bit more translucency with it. But I think that's the whole purpose of gouache, is that it gives you this nice thick punch of colour. Yeah, the Ultramarine Blue is really nice looking. So next I'm going to do here is this burnt umber. can see just how, I mean, you can feel. See, I've never used acrylics or oil paints or anything like that, because for me, the fact that when you work with acrylics and oils and stuff like that, there's a lot of setting up, there's a lot of taking it all down, and the reason why coloured pencil suits me best is because if I get into a lot of pain, I can just walk away from the desk and it's not going to cause a huge issue. But if I started getting into too much pain and I was working with oils or acrylics or something like that, I've got a whole thing to do before I can walk away and leave it. So this is the light yellow. Yeah, I think it was Granny Annie. Yeah, I think it does kind of dry matte. But you get, I mean, the strength, the colors here. So for anybody that's interested, because I started relaying this information to you, and then my son asked for money. So the pigments, for anybody that's kind of like knowledgeable on the pigments that you can use, or that, I don't know whether you all know your pigments and what have you. The pigments in the yellow, in the light yellow, are PY1 and PY74. In the grass green, it's PY3 and PB15. And then in the burnt umber, it's PY42, PR101, PR254, and P for Papa, B for Bravo, K for Kilo 7. So that's the pigments that are inside these. So the next color up is we'll go for this black. But when I'm using these, I mean, like, I've seen obviously acrylic artists, and the consistency of these paints look like acrylics. I know they're not. I mean, like, they're gouache, but I'm just saying what it looks like from a newbie's perspective. But you can see there, I mean, like, with this color here, with the green, the grass green, I just kind of like, this is a much thicker application of it, and you can see here that it is taking longer to dry. This one here had a lot more water to it, so there is a little bit more translucency to this one. With the burnt umber, the yellow and the black, I just dampened the brush and lifted a little bit of color and just applied it. So next up is the Ultramarine Blue. So this is going to be nice. Now, you see, the thing is, I've started getting into watercolors lately because I hadn't done many reviews of watercolors, and I wanted to start learning about watercolors so that I could add a little bit more variety to the reviews. But the thing, obviously the art style that I like is fan art, that type of thing. And I could see myself doing a really good fan art piece with these paints because they have that opaqueness to them that I enjoy when I'm using markers and then coloured pencil on top. Obviously, I don't know whether you could use coloured pencil on top of this after it dries. I'm sure you could. I'm sure, you know, it's just like watercolour. You can use anything really. But I don't know what the effects would look like. So next up is this violet. I mean, the colours are just absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Let me see if I've missed any questions here. Yeah, Nancy, that yellow is gorgeous. Okay, so now we're going to try the red. You see, and the thing is, because you've got white and you know, you can lighten all these colors just adding a little bit of white. You know, you can create all kind of pinks and with the greens there as well. Plus with the brown and the green, you know, you can create different darknesses of the green and what have you, with the blue and the yellow as well. Mind you, I think the Prussian blue would probably be better with that. But we'll see. So next up, actually, I'm going to do the Prussian blue. I love this color, whether it's colored pencils or whatever. It's just I think Prussian blues are really nice blue. Obviously, if you're working on skies and what have you, that's obviously why they've applied this or given this white in here, so this white can lighten down these colors. And look at that Prussian blue is just gorgeous. And I think that's it, isn't it? I think that's all the colors with obviously white, but I'll put the white down. Okay, I know you're not going to really be able to see this, but I'll just put it down in any case. So this is the white. And obviously I'm using just ordinary watercolor paper here when I'm doing this, but with gouaches, you know, you can use mixed media paper as well, providing it's thick enough and you're not doing big heavy washes. So for anybody that is wondering what the difference is between gouache and watercolor paints, so I've got these Paul Rubens watercolors here. In actual fact, it was the agent from Arrtx that sent me the Paul Rubens. So I don't know whether Paul Rubens and Arrtx are affiliated or whatever, but hang on. So the main difference between watercolors is that they're much more translucent. I think they've got a lot more flow to them. I know if you just add more water to these gouaches, I suppose you could really get it down to the same consistency as watercolor, or similar to watercolor. But the whole point, from my understanding, the whole point of gouache is that it is thicker, it's opaque paint, and it gives you a different style of art to what watercolors would ordinarily give you. So that's the difference between the two. Just let me grab some of this. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, I'm not going to do any artwork with these today, but I will do something, because that would just take far too long. So in terms of mixing, I have a palette here, but stuff it. I'm just going to use my Caran d'Ache palette. Okay, so in terms of mixing, I'm just going to lift some color from the lids again. So I've lifted some red here, and I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in. Hang on, need a little bit more. Should have done it the other way around, shouldn't I? Yellow and then added red. So you can see there that that's created a nice orange. Kind of like a burnt orange there. That's because I did it the wrong way round, rather than putting the yellow down and then applying the red. But you can see, you get the gist of what I'm talking about with regards to mixing, how easy it is to mix these. So with the green, because that grass green is quite quite bright. But if I take some yellow, and then add a little bit of ultramarine blue, it should give me a nice dark green like that. So that's it's a much more, well, what I would call a natural green for like landscapes, that type of thing. But you can see how easy it is to mix these paints. They mix exceptionally well. And obviously, I mean, like, that green's gorgeous. That's like a nice olivey green there. But obviously, providing you understand your color theory and which colors mix well and how to mix them and all the rest of it, you can create any number of colors and values and all the rest of it out of these colors that are in this set. What I'm going to do is lift a little bit of white. Let me see. Okay, so lift a little bit of white. And then lift a little bit of black, just a little tiny bit. And that's creating kind of like a nice warm grey. But you get what I mean. And I think, like I said earlier on, these colours have been carefully selected. They might look bright, and you might look at them first and think to yourself, you know, if you're a landscape painter or something like that, maybe some of these colours might be too bright or may not just work for you. But mixing them, knowing your colour theory, is going to go a long way. Let me see if I've missed any of these. I'm just taking a look over some of the questions here, see if there's any questions. I imagine you work dark to light. It's opaque. Yeah, I've not used pencils. I mean, like, this is the first time I've really used gouache, so I've no idea what it's like using pencils over gouache. But I'm sure I'm sure I will. When I try to do the artwork, I'm going to experiment a little bit, because I'm still going to do like an individual. Once I've had a play about with these and I understand the medium a little bit better, and I do some artwork, because when I do the artwork, that gives me a much better understanding of the medium, which is, I can remember a long time ago when I first started doing reviews. I never used to do artwork with them, and I can remember seeing a comment on somebody else's video. It was a long time ago, and the person who commented said that they hated watching reviews where the artwork where there was no artwork done with the product. And I can remember thinking to myself, well, that comment, in my opinion, is coming from someone who doesn't do YouTube videos. It's coming from somebody that hasn't got a clue the amount of work that goes into doing a YouTube video. But then when I sat and I thought about it a little bit more, I thought to myself, obviously, doing a little bit of work with it is going to give you a lot more understanding of the medium, how the medium works, how it plays about, that type of thing. So that's when I started doing artwork with the products that I was reviewing, and that person was right. Although they were talking about it from a perspective of watching the review, from the perspective of somebody actually doing the reviews, it gave me a much better understanding of the medium, and therefore I think I could give a much more rounded valuation of whatever product it was I was reviewing. I don't really know what else. Is there anybody, if you've got any questions or anything? I've been on now about just over an hour here, I think. Coming up to the hour. Right, okay, Meg. So you can use pencils over gouache, just not wet mediums on top, because it'll re-wet. I suppose that's a good thing to show. So with watercolor, you can re-wet it and you can kind of like lift off a little bit of color. With like the Derwent Inktense, you can't do that. So I'm just going to try and re-wet a little bit of this yellow here. And see if you can see there that it does, it moves. And so you can lift it off. And that yellow was done right at the beginning of the swatch, of swatching these. But you can see there that obviously it does reactivate, and you can lift it off to a certain. So obviously, like what May's just said there, putting wet mediums on top of it is only going to reactivate it and then create other issues for you. Oh, thank you so much, Jody. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Tiny Light, no, they don't come in, well, not these gouache paints. They don't come in dry pans, but all the gouache that I've seen, they tend to come in tubes, or like the when Arrtx when I first was made aware of Arrtx, they had these kind of like gouache jelly things, and they looked like they were in ice cube trays. But I've not seen gouache in dry pans like watercolors. No, I think all the gouache that I've ever seen is in tubes mainly, or like those little jelly things. Obviously with these little pans here, I can definitely see the advantages of having them in these little pans individually, you can lift out a couple of colors that you might need and then start doing all your mixing to generate more colors. You don't necessarily need to have them all opened out like this. I mean, like I've got these all just all over the place, which isn't obviously good. But I've just did it for this review. So is there any sorry, excuse me, is there anybody got any more questions before I wrap this up? I think, like I said, this is my first time doing gouache, and I think the color of these the paints that I used was unbelievable, and also as well how easy it is to mix. So I was able to get this, like this grey with the black and white, this orange with the red and yellow, and this gorgeous green with the ultramarine and yellow. So I think the mixing ability in creating values and all the rest of it is endless with the colours that they've selected for this particular set. Yes, Karen Dash have pans. You're right. You're absolutely right, Jody. Karen Dash have a, but I think those, they're like little. They look like kids gouache in the pans. They look like something you would have got when you were a kid in the 70s at Christmas. But you're absolutely right, Jody. I completely forgot about. Okay, so Jody's just asked there, when will these be available? So the company Arrtx officially launched them on the 10th of November, and if if any are dry, can you layer a light on dark? Yes, Susan. Yeah, I'll do that now for you. So let me see. So Susan's asked to do like a light on dark. I think that's what you asked. Yeah. So this. Okay, so this black has dried. It's a little bit wet around the edges. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see. So you can see down the center of this black here, it's dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift a lighter color, this red, and just apply it on top. And then I'll lift a bit of the white and see what that does to it. Yeah, so actually, like I was saying earlier on there, Jody corrected us and said that Karen Dash do pans of gouache. So I'm sure there are other pans, like dry pans of gouache that you can buy. You would just have to have a little look about. So the black here's dry, and I'm just applying some white on it. Yeah, I did that. I just done it lightly. I didn't scrub in the light on top of the black or anything like that. I just did a light application of it. But the layer underneath it was quite dry. I'll lift a little bit of yellow here as well and put it on that. Put it on this blue. I suppose like if I started really scrubbing at it and what have you, it would lift the colour up underneath. But as you can see there from those 3 tests, applying the red and white over that black was okay. Same with that yellow over the blue. No issues with that. Let me have a look, see if there's any questions I've missed. Oh, Tiny Light, you've got the you've purchased the Phoenix color pencils. Well, I think you're going to love them when you get them. I absolutely adore those pencils. They're gorgeous. Yeah, so as Jody also asked there earlier on, these gouache from Arrtx come out on the 10th of November, but they told me this morning that they think they're going to be for sale on Amazon US in a few days. But I think in the UK, we're going to have to wait until just after the 10th of November. From the 10th of November, maybe on a little bit. Yes, as soon as I finish these live streams, they just go straight up onto the channel, so you can rewatch it. I think it takes about an hour because the live streams they're quite they take up a lot of data. I think it's like 17 gigabytes for every hour that I'm on here, something like that. So that takes quite a long time, to upload to YouTube. So in about an hour after I come off here, it should be available on the channel. If not an hour, maybe 2 hours. But I keep all the live streams on. And just whenever you go over to the channel, I think the live streams for some reason don't always show up in the main feeds. I think you have to look at the live stream section. So I've just cleaned that. What I was saying earlier on about these pans, Arrtx asked me to mention that when you are closing these back over again, it's important that you make sure there are no paints. None of the paint has got on the sides. And if it does, just to dry it off, because if the paints are on the sides and you close the lid over, when that paint dries, it's going to be really difficult to open it. Point in case, if you weren't here at the beginning, this violet you can see here had significantly dried from the last time I opened it. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So it's all dry and crusty around the side here, and so I had quite a lot of difficulty opening that pan up. And so I would imagine if you are somebody who has arthritis or anything like that, that would have been a huge issue trying to open, arthritis in your hands. That would have been quite an issue to try and open that pan up. So it is important that you make sure that when you are putting these lids back on, that you clean the edges off. Try just to avoid getting paint on the threads. I know it's not always going to be possible, but just do your best. And when it comes to opening them up again, you won't have the same issues that I had with the violet. And in all honesty, like I said earlier on, if you have a postman like mine, who I think launched these from space to get in through my letterbox, because when they came, there was paint. There was quite a significant amount of paint around the sides. As soon as I opened it, you might have to, if you do decide to buy these gouache pans, you might have to do that as soon as you open them. But once you do it, that's it. Just make sure you keep it. Also, as well, like I said, they will be getting launched. The official launch date is the 10th of November, and the they might be on sale in the US, on Amazon US, a little bit earlier than that. But Arrtx are going to give me a code so that you can get a little bit of a discount on them. I don't get any commission from that. I refuse to take commission from things like this. I'd rather just get the codes and you guys get a little bit of discount. But they're going to give me a code. When they give me that code, I will put it in the description of the video. And you can, if you do decide that you want to go and get them, then you can get a little bit of money off. It's normally about 10%, but I'll have all that information in the description down below. Let me just... Okay. So that's really about it, guys. I think I've covered everything here with these gouache paints now, including the difference between gouache and watercolor, the way the gouache paints mix, and things like that. But anyway, thank you all so much for stopping by in this live stream. I love doing these live streams. It just gives me the chance to ramble on. If anybody walked past the house, they think I'm crazy, talking to myself. But anyway, is there anything anybody else? Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Putting a little bit of Vaseline or something like that around the sides. I suppose that would prevent things from clogging up. Yeah, that's an excellent idea. Yeah, I'll have the prices for the pans up in the description underneath. I never mention prices on the video because a year from now, if I talk about the price on this video, a year from now, the price could be anything. If I write it down, then I can change it. I can come back in and change it at any time. So I will put the prices in the description down below this video. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The price for these, as is the case with so many of the Arrtx products, the price is unbelievable because you get, like in the case of their markers are really inexpensive and you get a lot of them. Really good value for money, and that's what you got to think about when I talk about my reviews and the products that I'm doing. I'm also weighing up the price of the product, where it lines with other products, that type of thing, and the quality of the pigments, the quality of the paint or the pencil or whatever it is that you're using in comparison to how much money you're spending, because it's obviously important in this day and age, what with everything skyrocketing in prices. Anyway, guys, thank you all so very much for stopping by this review or this live stream. I know it's a little bit shorter than the other ones, but and you also see me having to be a dad there to our son up in Glasgow for his university, so that's quite funny. I've never had to do that before, but so there's 9 colors in total in this set. You've got the grass green, the burnt umber, Prussian blue, ultramarine, violet, bright red, light yellow, white, and black. Right, guys, I shall see you all again soon. Oh, by the way, if you have missed it, sorry, I always say I'm off, and then I say something else comes back up. Hang on. Okay, so if you missed it, I have a giveaway going at the minute. It's this one here for the Derwent It's a wooden box set of 24 colours. Sorry, 24 pencils. There's 12 colour soft and 12 metallic. I'll put a link for this video. All you've got to do is just go over, leave a comment, and that's you entered into it. But this is a beautiful set. On that video, you'll be able to see what's in the set and what it looks like and all the rest of it. But go across, put your name down. The winner will be announced for that set on the 1st of December. The reason why I did the 1st of December is so that if anybody wins it in Australia or America or somewhere far away from here, by the time I wrap it up, it'll probably be around about the 5th of December by the time I can get it to a post office. So I'm kind of like given 15 days for it to be posted, and hopefully it'll be to whoever wins it before Christmas. That's the plan. So that's why I'm announcing the winner for that one on the 1st of December. Once this video uploads, this gouache video, in another couple of days I'm going to be announcing another giveaway, but that giveaway I will announce the winner for in January. I think around about the 5th or the 10th of January, just depending on how rough I'm feeling in the new year. So, but it'll be around about the 5th. I'll announce all of that in the other video, but I can tell you that the giveaway I'm going to be doing next is, I think, the biggest one I've done on this channel so far. So just stick around for that, guys. And I'm trying my bit. I'm trying to give back as much as I can, because all the stuff I get from you guys is unbelievable in terms of support and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going this time, okay? I promise you. I'm off. I shall see you all again very, very soon. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Bye.